successful Forex traders, successful traders, successful investors, successful business people don't stumble, most of the time don't stumble into success. Is a byproduct of a way of thinking, is a byproduct of a manner of approach, right? So aside our individual giftedness and special abilities, there are certain attributes that people who do well in risk environment have. Environment where risk is the minimum, is the base, is the foundation. There are certain attributes that successful people have. Now, if you come into the Forex world, for instance, people usually say about 90% of traders are profitable and the likes. Recently, I will even say that is false, right? More than 90% are not profitable in the long run. That is, they can't do it sustainable for a while, right? Because there are certain human inefficiencies that they haven't been able to overcome on their normal day-to-day living, that then comes in and affects the way they see life normally, right? So life itself is like trading. At the barest minimum, life is risky. In fact, people choke on morsels of semo that they take and die. And eating is one of the basic things we do living, right? So anything can happen. If you can't handle risks, if you don't have a way of assessing risks as an individual, if you seek validation from others, if you look at others to take your decision, you most likely fail when it comes to trading. You most likely fail when it comes to investment. Most people who are the wealthiest people upon the face of the earth ventured into something that no other person had done. So there was no other person they could look up to, right? When the owner of Facebook started up Facebook, I doubt if there was any mentor he could look up to that had done something similar to that. And then he could say, okay, let me do this. Dangote, for example, now is building the largest refinery. I doubt if he has anybody he's looking up to, any prototype. That doesn't put aside mentors and the like. What I'm saying is that there is a lifestyle, there is a way of behavior, there is a behavior, let me put that way, that they have, right? They don't jump into things haphazardly. They take certain decisions, and the decisions are logical. Now, the decisions may be logically wrong, but as at the time they are taking that decision, it could be right. Today, I took my family out and I was idle while they were doing something. So I sat down with my laptop under a tree, and I went to Facebook, and somebody posted an old series of old adverts. Right, there's one particular advert, Omo Super Blue, Omo Wash is Bright, something like that. Some series of old, about 11 of them, right? And I was watching some of those adverts. Some of those adverts were on NTA in the 80s and early 90s. Some of those adverts made a lot of sense then, but if you do those same adverts now, it's very, very likely that it will cause a lot of controversy and not even market your product. But then it made a lot of sense. I watched one on Bako Super Sack. I remember the advert used to make me laugh. Then now I'm looking at it, I'm like, these guys, are they looking at the cultural differences? Right? So you can take some decisions based on your knowledge, what you know as at now. And that decision, looking at it under the lens of the fact that it is now in your hindsight, it might look wrong. But the point is that you are developing a method of thinking. I was going through Prof's WhatsApp status today, and he mentioned when he started trading, he did a lot of things by trial and error and some other things. And some people people who are coming to learn now can now learn and perhaps learn from his errors and not repeat those errors. Gospel facts. But I can tell you, 5 years down the line, what we are teaching now as the truth might also be some form of error, right? So you make decision based on your level of knowledge. But the point is that you must engage your mind in making that decision. You must engage your mind. You can't allow your decision to be haphazard. Then you won't be able to, even in your mind, without writing it down, plot out a graph of actions and consequences in your mind. And if you can't plot out a graph of action and consequences in your mind, you are not intelligent. That is my basic definition of intelligence. Intelligence is somebody who uses knowledge, and knowledge comes from the fact that you know that you've done this and this was the consequence. Then you apply that knowledge, then you become intelligent, right? So I see lots of people not taking intelligent decisions, including myself. At certain points, you can now use that lazy way of living, that I don't care attitude of living, and then you think because you are dealing with money, you will suddenly become an expert. I'll give you a common example I usually tell young people in church. Let's say you have, I'm using Nigerian Naira here. Sorry for those of you who are outside the country, but let me just Nigerian. Let's say inside your pocket, you have 100,000 naira. For whatever reason, you are walking around with 100,000 naira, and you know is there, and there is a short distance. Unfortunately, I can't use the normal example I use between Obasanjo Gate and Obasanjo Junction. But let's say there's a short distance that covers about 1 kilometer. Covers about 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer really is not too long. Or let's say half of that, 500 meters, something like that. Now, on a normal day, most people, if they have this floating in their purse, they will take a bike. They'll take a bike for this distance, right? Now, but if what is sitting in their purse on another day is, let's say, 500, they will walk and not take a distance, and not take a bike or take a cab. They'll walk. Now, the reason why this person is having a change of attitude is not because the person has a logical reason for either taking a bike or a cab or taking a walk. This person is propelled by what he or she has in his purse. If we take a survey, over 90% of humans or of us here will behave like this person. And from my understanding, my fresh understanding I'm getting, this is an illogical way of living, and this is a way of living that doesn't have a standard, right? It simply means this person is just living by virtue of how much he or she has in his purse, and not by a standard, not by a principle. Right? This person is not living by virtue of principle. This person is being motivated by what he or she has. The same thing happens to when we go to supermarket. So I talk with some friends and you hear them say, Bishop, when I go to supermarket now, I don't even look price of the thing, I'll just buy. Right? Again, that is another foolish way of living. You shouldn't just walk into a supermarket and then just spend money simply because you have it. There should be a reason why you spend money. You shouldn't be driving and all of a sudden you see something that you like and then you just buy it. 2 weeks down the line, you have it lying down in your house and you don't have a specific use for it. Now, I know some of you be wondering, why are we discussing this in a system, in a forum where we discuss investment? The point is that the way you throw money at investments cannot be different from the way you throw money around investment or no investment. If you are not disciplined, if you are not logical in the way you use your money, whether you call it investment, whether you call it leisure spending, you will behave the same way, right? Your way of thinking when you are dealing with money is the same, irrespective of what the object of the money is, whether it's investment, whether it's daily lifestyle, whether it's leisure or whatever. You can't change who you are all of a sudden because money is involved. It's not possible. That's not how life behaves. That's not how life is dealt with, right? If you want to do well in investment schemes, whether Ponzi or no Ponzi, MLM or no MLM, whatever the name may be, and whatever shape or sizes they come, you must gain mastery in at least controlling the way you think.